I was invited to speak at a multi-speaker conference in Santa Clara near San Jose in California. And I went there and I spoke for a few hours, and there were people from all different aspects of looking at life differently, including Christian patriot kind of conspiracy people as well, all different types. And anyway, I get out of bed and I've come down to the hotel lobby, and the conference is going on in this big theater. And there's no one around because everyone's in there looking at the speaker, whoever it was at the time. There's one guy. And he was a classic good old boy Christian patriot from Tucson, Arizona. And he said to me, he said, I like your stuff, Dave. He says, I like your stuff. He said, but I can't understand this reptilian stuff. I can't get my head around that. And as I say to everybody, well, take what feels right and leave the rest. That's taking control of your perception. Oh, yeah, okay, mate. Yeah. Anyway, the next day he comes up to me and he just said to me, I know what you mean. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I've seen it. And he told me this story. There was another speaker who I kind of met some years before and took an instant dislike to be honest. The energy coming off him was horrible. Anyway, this guy knew this Christian patriot guy, and he used to write articles for this Christian patriot guy's newspaper. Anyway, this Christian patriot wrote an editorial which this fellow, this at the time well-known conspiracy researcher speaker, didn't like. And in the lobby of this hotel, the bar's in the lobby, and they start having this absolute humdinger of a row, where it got more and more and more heated, and they're almost coming to blows. And the hotel manager, he said, came over and said, look, gentlemen, you're going to have to leave the bar. You're upsetting the other guests. And so he said, I stood up and I walked towards the lift, or the elevator as he calls it. And I walked in, turned round, and the door was shutting. And just as it was about to close, this speaker guy put his arm through the elevator doors, which made them open. And he came and stood right in front of his face. And I know exactly what he's describing because I've seen this guy do it. And he said this guy was fuming with anger and fury. He said, and he shifted. His face became reptilian in front of my eyes. And this is a guy who 24 hours later said, oh, I can't get my head around that. It sounds really strange to me. And I'll tell you why that happened. Because I've heard it described in similar circumstances by other people. You know when you get really angry and furious, you can feel as when you get into a state of extreme fear and shock. You feel an electrical surge go through the body. I'm surging with fury. That's electricity. And what can happen is you can reach such levels of anger and fury that the electrical surge through the body basically shifts the hybrid field. So the other field briefly, usually, impacts itself. And suddenly the observer has gone from observing and decoding the human field, and suddenly this surge of fury, electricity, electromagnetism, has caused this shift to happen, and suddenly they're decoding very briefly this other field, and that's what this guy was experiencing. And this is what shapeshifting is. It's a shift of energetic information in a hybrid field. It is not a physical shift because there is no physical. And if there was, shapeshifting would be impossible.